back to the text on page 80. Too often, indeed most often, a man and father is characterized by a hot temper that flares at small things such as a child's spilled milk, but responds mildly to larger issues such as a child's loss of his purity. This is because a man's passion is tied primarily to self-love and pride rather than love of God and family. And we need to watch with this anger thing. It's one of those sins I call the momentum sins. If we let the devil get a foothold, then things can blow up. But if one of those things, if we just see something and we just snuff it out before it ever gets going, then we could just go on about like nothing ever happened. There's a good resource there I want to mention. It's a CD audio program. It's just a one disc by Deacon Bob McDonald called Anger and Forgiveness. And he talks a lot about how to control that passion or control that urge. Very good counsels on dealing with anger. It's not to be expressed in order to be relieved. And he's also a therapist, so he knows this from the clinical side also. He gave an example during that program of a bad therapist who did this experiment. He had I guess a patient who was having some anger issues toward his father. They may have been estranged from each other or something to that effect. And he brought him in front of a class, and he used a pillow, and he said, do to this pillow what you would want to do to your father. And so he starts taking out his anger and beating this pillow and going on. And by the time he was done, he was spent, all of his energy, and he looked worse at the end than when he started. So the therapist in that case, the teacher beams with pleasure seeing, oh, isn't that wonderful? And it actually was not wonderful at all. It was actually bad. So it's not to be expressed, rather it's to be suppressed. He said, Dr. McDonald, he said, well, my father used to say, count to 10 before you get angry. Give yourself time to cool down.